Hello, hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Health and Wellness Monday, and our topic for today is breaking the news to loved ones. I have cancer. If you are tuned in on any form of social media, like the show, share the show, and invite someone else in on the show that you feel may benefit from this valuable information. Let's just jump right into the topic today. How do you break the news to someone that you have been diagnosed with cancer? And number one says, just go right ahead and make sure that you pray first before you do anything else, before you tell anybody else, before you even try to process this news yourself. Make sure that you are praying and asking God to guide you on what to do, what to say, how to move forward, and so that you can have clarity when you are trying to explain this to someone else. Because believe me, as someone who has been through this and who have heard those words, I have cancer, you have cancer, you're going to want to take some time and pray. Praying for me calms my nerves, puts things in perspective, and it'll allow me to move forward in a calm and confident way. So make sure that you pray and you're asking God to guide you. The second thing you want to do when you have been told that you have cancer and you're trying to break this news to loved ones and you're trying to gather your thoughts is to first process that information yourself. You have to prepare yourself emotionally before you can tell anybody anything, right? So talk to yourself and ask yourself questions. Answer them if you want to. But you have to process the news yourself before you can call someone on the phone, FaceTime them, email them, however you want to break that news. You have to process that news yourself so that when you're telling someone, you're not constantly getting emotional about it. And now they're emotional about it, and you're really not able to get anywhere with the news that you're trying to give them. Take some time out to process that news yourself and decide how you're going to move forward. Number three, when the doctor has told you that you have cancer and you're trying to break that news to loved ones, make a list of questions and concerns to take to your next appointment to your doctor so that you can be well informed, you can educate yourself so that when you are talking to loved ones, you know exactly what to say. Because trust me, it's going to be a lot of questions coming your way as soon as you tell your loved ones that you have cancer. They're going to be asking a lot of questions. What type of cancer is it? What type of treatment you're going to take? What stage is it? What grade is it? And if you don't know these things, it's going to frustrate you. So make sure that you make a list of questions for your doctors, any concerns that you have when you go to the next appointment, so that you can answer the questions for your loved ones when they come to you and say, what type of cancer do you have? What is this now? And then they start throwing other people who have had cancer and what type of cancers they've had. You have to know, you have to be solid in your information that you're going to give to the family and friends. Number four, the fourth thing that you do when you have cancer and you're trying to break that news to your family and friends is anticipate that they will have questions, right? So you need to do your homework, do your research. And I'm just going to say, limit the internet. Don't be so gung ho on going to the internet and typing in your diagnosis, and next thing you know, the internet will have you buried. So make sure that you're getting your information from legitimate sources. Your doctor, they have cancer websites to where that have the .org on the end of it, to where you know that information is coming from a reliable source. Because all type of people are going to be in your ear telling you all types of stories, and you know you want to be confident in your information, and you want to make sure that the information that you have, the information that you acquired, that you researched, that you're being told by your doctor, that the information is valuable information, is reliable information, and you know it's coming from a good source, right? So make sure that you are prepared for those questions. You anticipate those questions. And if you don't know the answer to the questions, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Don't be afraid to say, let me get back to you. Don't be afraid to say, my doctor is handling that, so there's no need to worry about that. Don't be afraid to take control over the conversation and tell them what it is you need to tell them, because they're gonna want to know. And I don't want to say they have a right to know, but if they're your loved ones, especially if they're your immediate family, your husband, your kids, maybe even your siblings, those are the people who maybe love you the most in the world, and they want to know because you mean so much to them. So make sure that you are telling them how you want them to know, right? How you want them to know this information, how much you want them to know, what it is you want them to know about your diagnosis. Sometimes people are private about their cancer diagnosis. Sometimes people don't want anybody to know. Sometimes people just select a few people to tell, right? But it's your decision. It's your diagnosis. You have a right to decide who and what and how you tell individuals about your cancer diagnosis. Number 5 is strategize on how you're going to break that news. Choose the right time, choose the right place, right? Make sure that you're in a good headspace when you're telling them. You're not really, again, overly emotional when you're telling them, because it's going to scare them and make them think, oh my gosh, she must not going to make it. She must not be confident in what the doctor told her, and whatever the treatment is, she must not be, or he must not be confident. So you have to make sure that you're calm, you're collective when you're telling them, even if in the inside you're not. But you want to make sure when you're breaking the news to your loved ones that you're doing it so that you want them to walk away from the conversation feeling like you're going to be okay. Even if in the inside you're like, oh my god, like you're all over the place, because you're still trying to process it yourself. Sometimes processing it may go all the way to the end of your treatment, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be at the beginning. You do have to process that news that you have, but sometimes just the whole entire diagnosis, the whole entire journey that you have to go through, it may take time to process that. You may be processing it in phases as you're going along that journey. Make sure when you're breaking the news to your loved ones that you're doing it to where it's age appropriate, right? So if it's a child, you're not a child maybe 5 to 7 years old, you're not going to use all these big words or jargons that they really don't understand, right? So you want it to be age appropriate for them, so that they'll be able to understand it, to know that, oh yeah, mommy is sick, mommy is fighting, and mommy may be tired sometimes, she may not feel like cooking or playing or going outside, but just understand that this is why. So just make sure you're telling individuals, and it's age appropriate, even if you have to use books, even if you have to bring in a counselor or someone to help you break down the information, or them having to have some sort of counseling or therapy after that, just so they can understand what's happening and process it, and know that it has nothing to do with them or anything that they did that caused this to happen to mommy or daddy. Number 7, keep updates consistent. So when you're breaking the news to loved ones that you have cancer, you want to make sure the information is consistent, that you're filtering out the same information to everybody the way that you want to filter it out. So it could be an email, it could be a text message, it could be, okay, we're on Zoom, whatever it is, just make it consistent, make it one message, and then filter it out, so you're not getting calls from any and everybody trying to figure out what's going on, and you're tired of repeating it. Even if you designate someone to say, hey, email these individuals this, so that you're not really doing it. You have a designated person that's doing it, but make it consistent, and keep them updated. Then that way they don't have to be calling you for an update. Hey, you guys, I have an appointment on Wednesday. This is what's supposed to happen. I'll update y'all when I'm done. And update them, and don't feel obligated to respond to everybody. You respond to them when you feel like it, when you're up to it, and you get around to it. Respond to them, or send out one mass response. Hey, you guys, I appreciate your feedback and your response. I'm resting, and when I'm up to it, I may be taking calls. Number 8, keep your message simple and use direct language, right? Just make it simple for individuals to understand. So when they walk away from the conversation with you, they have a good understanding of what's happening with you, right? They don't have to speculate. They ain't drawing their own conclusions. They ain't buried you in the grave and calling everybody, trying to do a GoFundMe. Just make sure that you're using simple language, even for a 4-year-old can understand, a 90-year-old can understand, and they walk away knowing that, okay, mama was diagnosed with cancer. Mommy's gonna have to go through treatment. Again, mommy may not feel good all the time, so this is what's happening. Mommy is fighting. Just be direct so that you won't leave room for people to speculate and add in their own interpretation of what you have said. Number 9, you want to be honest. Be honest with individuals and let them know what's going on, but do it in your own time. Don't feel pressured, don't feel rushed, and don't feel like you're obligated to tell everybody every little detail that's going on in your journey. Again, you're processing this journey as you're going along. And once you process it, then you may feel comfortable filtering it out. It may take you a while to do that. But just be honest with them and say, hey, I'm not feeling up to it today. Or, hey, I did find out some news at the doctor, but right now I'm processing it right now. And I will be, letting the family know what's going on, at appropriate time. Can you just allow me a little space? You have to, you have to do that. If you don't, people will bum rush you and they will overwhelm you because they're scared, because of their feelings. So you have to make sure that you're being honest, you're being direct, and you're keeping it consistent with them so they know what's going on. Remember, these are people that love you. These are people that are rooting for you. These are people that want to help you. These are people that love you and they want to see the best for you. So especially if you're the breadwinner in the family, and or even you're the caretaker, you're doing everything for the kids and dropping them off at practices and schools and stuff, like, and then all of a sudden you down, like, that plays a role in individuals maybe feeling like it's something that they did. It brings on some form of trauma as well for them, because they may not even understand really what's going on. So make sure, number 10 is, make sure that you give yourself permission to take a break. Sometimes you're just going to need a break from everything that's going on with this cancer diagnosis, being overwhelmed, trying to make sure that you're updating everybody all the time. When you're just processing this update yourself, make sure that you take some time to take care of self. We always talk about self-care. Think of some things that you can do where you can take care of yourself, and you don't have to be worrying about getting anybody to school. You don't have to worry about sending out any emails. You don't have to worry about any doctor's appointments, but you're just taking care of self, whether that be just being in a house, binge watching some movies, your favorite show, whatever it is, going to spend some time maybe with some loved ones out of town, whatever it is, a getaway, get an Airbnb and go away with your sweetie, whatever it is that you can do that will allow you to have self-care. Do that. Do that, because a cancer diagnosis is overwhelming as it is, right? I'll say it's disabling for some people, right? Some people can become disabled because of a cancer diagnosis, but sometimes mentally you're disabled. Sometimes mentally you want to check out, right? So you have to make sure that you're giving yourself permission to just step away, clear your head, come back refreshed, so that you're not taking out whatever you're feeling on your loved ones. Take some time for yourself. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell. Join me every Monday at 6 p.m. on Intellectual Radio, as well as Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Warriors Talk is changing lives, one warrior at a time.